In this video, we're going to talk about total loss valuations. First, what Texas law says you're entitled to recover for the total loss of your vehicle. Second, how the insurance company determines the value of your car. Third, what you can do to check whether that valuation is accurate. And fourth, some tactics you can use to get the valuation up. And finally, a short review of the pros and cons of using different insurance coverages that might be available to pay for the total loss. My name's Christopher Raymond. I'm an attorney practicing law in Texas at Tate Law Office. My law practice focuses on personal injury and wrongful death cases, but we receive calls all the time from people who've been in a wreck, aren't hurt, but have questions about their property damage claims. So we've created a series of videos intended to be purely informative to help people who aren't hurt understand Texas laws about property damage issues. First, what Texas law says you're entitled to recover for the total loss of your car. You're entitled to recover the actual cash value of the car right before it was wrecked. Actual cash value means what a willing seller would pay to a willing buyer. This means that you should receive the amount of money that a private buyer would have paid to a private seller for the car right before it was wrecked. One way to think about actual cash value is it's the amount of money you would have gotten if you had sold your car to another person off Auto Trader. This means you don't get retail pricing under Texas law. When we're talking about a retailer, we're talking about a used car dealer, and they generally mark the car up so they can make a profit. And generally speaking, buying a used car from a used car dealer is more expensive than buying the same used car from a private seller. This means the insurance company may pay you less than what it costs to replace the car if you go to a car dealer. Now we know what the law in Texas says the insurance has to pay for actual cash value, but how does the insurance company determine the value? Generally, the insurance company uses a service that conducts a market survey looking for cars for sale in your area that are very similar to yours. One service often used is CCC. Let's look at a CCC report so you can see what a CCC evaluation looks like. This is a CCC market valuation report for a 2015 Kia Soul. On the first page is a summary showing a base value as well as adjustments to the base value, which are based upon the condition of this particular car. First, the base value. On page 8, the base value is determined by a comparison of cars that are similar to the Kia that are for sale in the area. You can see on page 9 the comparison vehicles values and the adjustment made for things like model and trim, options, or mileage. Next, the adjustments. First, the vehicle information. These are things like the make, model, year, and trim package. The next category of characteristics considered is the vehicle condition. This page notes that this particular Kia has high mileage. On page 2, you can see that the CCC is subtracting $628 for the high miles. On page 6, you can see that CCC is adding value for the condition of the tires. Based upon the comparison of vehicle values and the condition of the Kia, CCC determines a value. Can you really trust a CCC evaluation? There are always notes on the CCC evaluation which raise question marks. For instance, on page 1, we see that this Kia is noted as having prior damage, and there's an asterisk next to that deduction. If you read the note next to the asterisk, you see that Allstate told CCC to make this deduction. We see other notes, like what is on page 12. These indicate that on 3 different occasions, Allstate requested changes to the valuation. It also tells us that the valuation was prepared for Allstate, and no one should rely upon the evaluation but Allstate. These types of notations seem to indicate that CCC is not objective and willingly makes changes to the valuation if requested by the carrier. Now we're going to talk about what you can do to check whether the CCC valuation is accurate. The first is to look online at free sites like Kelley Blue Book. The second is to hire an appraiser to produce a report. First, the online resources. Kelley Blue Book can be found at kbb.com. There you enter the characteristics of your car and get a value. Kelley Blue Book has a button you can toggle for private party value. That most closely fits the definition of actual cash value under Texas law, and you should toggle that button. Retail is too high and trade-in is too low. There are other resources such as NADA and others that provide online evaluations. As you look at these sites, make sure you're choosing private party value if you're provided that option. Know that NADA tends to give only retail and trade-in. Like I said, retail is too high and trade-in is too low, so know that your valuation is somewhere in between. The second way to double-check a total loss valuation is to hire an appraiser. If you search around, you can find several companies that perform these types of services. It's going to cost some money, so you need to balance the cost against the potential gains and decide if you think it's worth it. DVAC is one such company that performs independent adjusting and appraising services. They have locations around the state of Texas, and they aren't as expensive as what you might think. So, what tactics can you use to get the value up? First, make sure the information the adjuster has about your car is accurate. The make, model, year, and options all matter. Make sure these are correct. Second, make sure the adjuster is paying for any additions or add-ons that might make your car worth more money. These might be new tires, fancy rims, or an upgraded stereo. Anything that isn't regular maintenance should be shown to the adjuster, and you should argue that they add value to your car. Third, argue the condition adjustments on the CCC evaluation with the adjuster. If you look at the evaluation, these adjustments seem rather arbitrary, and the adjuster may change them in your favor if you challenge them. Fourth, check free resources like NADA and Kelley Blue Book to see if those sites are returning a higher value than the insurance company. If they are, argue that the insurance company should pay the Kelley Blue Book value if it's higher. Finally, if you really feel like you're being lowballed, hire an appraiser. When you speak with the adjuster, don't be afraid to reject their offer, but give them reasons why your valuation is correct. Finally, a quick review of the pros and cons of using different insurance coverages to pay for the total loss. If the other person caused the wreck, then their insurance should pay for the total loss of your car. If you caused the wreck, then the only coverage that will pay in Texas is collision coverage. That's an optional coverage, and you pay extra premium dollars for it. If the other person caused the wreck and has no insurance, then you can use your uninsured motorist coverage or your collision coverage if you have it. Those are optional coverages and you must pay extra for them. The deductible on uninsured motorist is set at $250 by statute, which is usually less than a collision deductible. If the other person caused the wreck and has insurance, but you also have collision coverage, then you could use either. We discuss insurance coverages in more detail in other videos, so check those out if you have questions. Well, that concludes this video. I hope you found it informative. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.